China today, one of the second largest, well, not one of the second largest as far as land mass. Now, I have nothing against China at all. In fact, I think it's fairly interesting given its exceptionally long history with a language that hasn't really changed in 1500 years. To me, that's a sign of resilience, neglecting the rest of the world, which I think is a good thing as far as cultural identity, excluding the spin-off countries like Japan, the Koreas, to name some of the bigger ones. They're kind of a derivative of China. This might take a bit. We will try to get through this. Taiwan is part of China, despite what people think. There we go. I would say one pretty much covers it. Move up through here. We'll go along the coast as usual. It's such a massive area, the only one above this is Russia as far as square kilometers or square miles. Yeah, they were quite interesting how rapidly they developed fusion from their first fission. In fact, they were the quickest to make that turnaround possible. Could have been some collaboration between the USSR at the time, I'm sure. But for the most part, they were pretty rapid. I think currently they have the third largest stockpile, behind United States and Russia. I think there were several hundred, 500 or 600. They could really do some damage. I mean, that's obviously declared. It's funny how Israel claims they don't have any or won't admit that they have any, yet every other civilized nation on this planet openly admits if they do or don't. So that kind of tells you, what we're dealing with there. Now, there is some disputed area around here. We already did Bhutan. I think that is partially claimed. We'll go ahead and just take out the area around it just to be sure. As Ripley said, we'll just go ahead and nuke them from orbit. What is this? Probably part of India. Whatever, close enough. With devices at this scale, it's really not gonna matter. I'm sure the blast area is larger than what we're actually simulating. However, this is the limit. What we can do. The Himalayas are definitely a little shorter today. They feel a little smaller. Let's get some refreshments. Yeah. get to all of these stand countries soon. You know, you guys should have just stayed with the USSR. You might have thinking your independence was valued, but you know, once you do that as a landlocked country, you're really at the mercy of everyone around you. It's kind of the last thing. I mean, you want at least half of your borders to be open ocean. You're trapped. It's Mongolia. Mongolia should probably still be part of China. Probably would be better off for it. I mean, can't go into the history because it's so extensive. It is pretty much the longest history, continuous history of any area in the world. India's got some long history as well, but you know, they had suffered quite a bit of invasion, assimilation, where China has pretty much just done its own thing. I definitely appreciate countries not accepting the Western media for sure. Western entertainment. That's what makes North Korea extremely interesting, is they've almost completely developed on their own, which makes their culture, their civilization a little more unique. Although again, spin-off from China, it's still kind of part of it. Language is based, etc. But it is interesting. People talk about diversity, yet they pull the diversity from the same pool, so you're not really changing anything. You're just recycling it. Now, if you want to really diversify, then you really ought to look at what is different. You know, as far as ideology, the texture and complexity of the epidermis layer is, quite frankly, a little pedestrian to even consider that a difference. Alright, we're moving along here pretty good. Once we get around Mongolia, we'll close this up pretty quickly. It is very dense. I mean, China is, it's about a good third of it is open to the ocean. So we can count on that. Let's go up here. Say, for as large a country as it is, this is going pretty quickly. I think we optimized our setup a bit. There may be a few spaces here and there, but You know, it's just for a general idea. The numbers won't really change much, but it will look cleaner. You know, plus or minus 10% on 2 million megatons isn't really gonna matter. You know, maybe to some bean counter somewhere, but those kinds of opinions aren't really necessary for what we're doing. I mean, you gotta worry about some other things. Just cap off a bit. Alright. Yeah, and this is the 100%. Nothing remains. One of these will certainly take out Mount Everest, turn it into an anthill. Let's zoom in a bit, get a few more cities. What the hell is this? Nice little area here. It's nice. Looking good. Let's go. Feels good closing this up. Almost. Do have a bit in the north yet. Definitely past halfway. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't build these. I mean, this is just so interesting. Basically, the size has no limit. I think the largest one the United States ever fielded was a 25 megaton. It was a triple staged device. So excluding the initiation charge, it was it fission, fusion, and it was like the cleanest device. I mean, can you imagine if we had continued designing for the past 30 years? A pure fusion bomb will not have any fallout. Obviously, the funding and time necessary to discover that didn't happen. You know, a 50, 100, a 500 gigaton device, 1,000 gigaton, 20,000 gigaton device. Now we're talking about reshaping the continents with a single charge. That's interesting. Let's finish the mainland here. Head up north. Yeah, we're getting quicker. I remember how long like Australia took, and then Brazil, and then Canada. Yeah, go there. Yeah, this is it. We're coming down here. Which means Russia won't be too bad to deal with. That's the largest. It's about 50% larger than China. We're just gonna ride this line. We will save the crossroads for the last spot. And you'll see what that is. It's actually really interesting. I won't spoil it, we're almost there. That little corner. Yeah, that's quite a bit of overlap, but we'll just be sure. Almost there, we're almost to that point. I think it's called like something like Friendship Road or Friendship Bridge. We're almost to it. Just a handful left now. Yeah, we are way less than we needed before. We are using a slightly larger blast diameter, but roughly the same concept. All right, we're almost there. Okay, let's do this. More. I mean, remember, everything in this diameter is absolutely 100% gone. Not even hardened military structures will stand. It is instant vaporization of every known material. Okay, so here it is. Right here. This spot right here is where all three countries touch. All three of the largest communist countries in the world. Russia, China, and North Korea. They all cross right there because this is Russia coming in here. This is China. This, of course, is North Korea. So it's just interesting that those three countries all connect. What is it, here? Yeah, it would be right here. Right here's North Korea, China, and Russia. I mean, look at this border. It's a road. This is China and Russia. So you can imagine people in here would be a little bit of both. All right, let's finish it off. We were friends, and now we're not. Let's take it right over the edge. There it is. Clean, efficient, complete.